Welcome to Magic in the Middle. I'm Sarah Adams Mar-Dumont. This is a space to pause, to find clarity, and explore where science and spirituality meet so life feels lighter and more aligned and you're thriving. Episodes drop every Monday. I invite you to take this journey with me to discover the magic in the middle. Sarah and Rachael, welcome to Magic in the Middle. So I can't tell you how excited I am about having you on the Magic in the Middle, how tickled I am. You were referred to me by a couple people, Joan and Judy, who you know well. And so I've been laughing with Joan, golly, for 3, 4, 5 years. So I've learned a lot about you. But for me, the magic in the middle is about our health and our vitality. It mixes science with spirituality and laughter. So, I just want to say to people here, eventually we will record Magic in the Middle video so people could see. I'm with a couple twin sisters here. And it's just really amazing. I don't know if I told you my grandma was a triplet and her sister were identical twins. So
Wow.
this is really, really special for me. And I think it's really cool that you wrote a book together and how special that is. And so before we go any further, though, I want to know, when did each of you first realize that laughter was more than a reaction and that it was actually a choice?
So it's a really interesting place to start because our father was a civics and social problems teacher, and he used to invite people over to the house on Tuesday nights for seminars. There were many, many conversations. I remember very specifically one night, we were probably, I don't know, between 8 and 12 at the time, probably closer to 8 to 10. I remember the question was, what makes us laugh? I cannot tell you anything about what was said that night, other than that was the topic. And so now, these years later, I think, wow, I wish I had a recording of that conversation. People will find the answer in detail to this question that you asked in our book. In fact, it takes up space in the first chapter and in the second chapter because my story of laughter is chapter one, and I came to understand laughter as a choice through living in the hospital room of my daughter who had a serious immune deficiency. And one day her dad came to visit. He was at home with the other kids and he was sitting in a chair with her on his lap. At the time, she was 18 months old, and there was a great big poster in the background that said, I love you very much. And he pointed to the poster, and when he got to the word you, he started tickling her. I love you very much. And she started laughing, and he started laughing. And before you know it, we were all three laughing, laughing, laughing. And in my mind, I was like, this is a different kind of laughter. It took us out of the hospital room, away from everything. Her sisters were with us. It was just in my imagination, it was just somewhere else. Years later, my older daughter's friend, Molly, said, Sarah, I just learned how to be laughter yoga leader. Will you come with me and do this? And so I'm like, well, I don't know what laughter yoga is, but Molly asked, so I went. 45 minutes later, I walked to my car and I was like, oh my God, this is that laughter. And I need to teach everyone I know how to do that. Because what had been spontaneous from a baby became something that I realized you could actually learn how to create yourself. So that was a really powerful moment for me.
I love that. I love that. And Rachel, what about you?
Well, I decided very early in life that laughing wasn't a good idea. And that's why it takes up a whole chapter. I had several run-ins with laughter, shall we say. Um, I I don't know if I should give a spoiler alert. No, okay. Well, anyway, I didn't have good experiences with laughter, and I decided that laughter wasn't safe and laughter wasn't a good idea. And one of the things that's not in the book that I remember vividly is that my grandmother had a friend, a couple, and he was a pipe smoking, old man who loved to tease us. And I just ran from the room when he would come because I couldn't stand the attempt at humor. I'm a very analytical, and my inner critic is very loud. And so I've never felt like I laughed at the right time or that I fit in with laughter. So for me, when I learned that it was this magical power that you could choose, was after Sarah did a laughter yoga session at a family gathering. And my husband sat on the couch, not really too interested in participating. And my kids were like, teenagers, and her daughters were there. They're almost the same age. And, my daughter ended the thing and she's like, yeah, that was okay. But a week later in our kitchen, when the stress was getting really tense, she went, very good, yay, which is one of the exercises. And I was like, and she did it 2 or 3 times. And then since everybody else had been at this event, they joined in. And it was like the whole dynamic shifted. It was wild. Okay, that got my attention. But then I was going to a breast biopsy. I was driving there and I was very nervous about it because we had lost 2 family members to breast cancer. And I don't know how to use my phone or my GPS. I don't have good directions. I'm going bananas. And I'm hearing Sarah's voice in my head say, I promise you, you don't have to believe me. If you just do this one exercise, your life is going to be totally different. And it's going to make you feel better immediately. You don't have to believe it. I think we should interrupt my story and teach this exercise because
It's
then the rest
called
of the story
smile
will make sense.
Yeah.
It's called smile ups, and it's like push ups for your mouth. And what you do is just simply make a smile. Let yourself smile. If a giggle comes, it's okay, but it's not required. And then you relax your face, which is not a frown, it's just a letting go. And we're going to do it 10 times. And here's number 2. And what you're doing, you can relax now. Keep smiling while I do this. Okay, so number 3, what you're doing is sending endorphins right to your brain right now. And relax your face. And that's sending cortisol, the stress hormone, away. Here comes number 4. Let your eyes begin to dance, thinking about those endorphins getting released in there. And then relax. And on number 5, now serotonin, dopamine, and oxytocin are being triggered. And they're saying, hey, it's our time to party. And relax. And you just keep doing it. 6, relax. 7, relax. 8, big smile, eyes dancing. Relax can be hard because you're really wanting to giggle. 9, and relax. And 10. Go ahead, keep going with your story. That's the smile
So,
up story.
so I'm hearing this little voice that's saying, don't have to believe me, just do it. I promise you, you're going to feel better. And I'm like, feel the stress rising like an elevator in my body. And so through gritted teeth, I'm like going, this isn't going to work. This isn't going to work. No, this is ridiculous. Okay, but I'm desperate. And all of a sudden I hear myself giggle. And I was like, whoa, where'd that come from? Finally, I figure out where I am. I get to the parking lot 4 times. I have to circle this parking lot and I'm running late and I'm nervous as can be. And finally, I find a parking spot and I get there. And now I'm laying on the table waiting for the doctor to come in. And I smiled on the table, which shocked me. Well, then this woman comes in and the assistant comes in and I look at the doctor and I say, and I'm first of all, I'm thinking she hasn't even had time to go to the bathroom or wash her hands before her last procedure. How could this possibly work? But I'm bargaining with myself and I'm saying, but maybe if I could just transform this minute, it'll impact the outcome. So where I didn't think about saying this at first, I just said, have you done any smile ups today? I was like, what? And she, of course, didn't know what I was talking about. So there I am teaching her and the assistant, and again, myself, how to do smile ups. And I'm talking to them about laughter and how transformational it is. Because I have, while I was walking from the parking lot to the office, I was saying to myself, okay, this is absolutely not working. Let's try. I know positive affirmations are supposed to work. Life is good. Life is great. Everything is going to be fine. I'm like, BS. It's not true. And I switched back to spinals. So now I've got these women laughing. And she does the biopsy, and I can't remember anymore because I've had a couple of procedures, but everything worked out fine. And now I made new friends with these people and more people in the dressing room after. It was wild. So that's when I really understood that, whoa, there's something to this.
Oh my gosh. See, I love cold opens like this because we're going to talk about today discover the power of laughter, jumpstart your journey to health and joy. And so this is so magic in the middle. This is our tools, right, for life, for making our life better, for being healthier. And so we're going to dive in. I love your stories. This book was 10 years in the making of research and so much heart. I mean, you heard Rachel, she wasn't even a believer. Spent 10 years with Sarah writing this book, doing research. She showed me the books in her office. So this is like the real deal. And I know you all are the real deal. You have so much heart and so much passion for this. And I do this because like the relaxation that happens in your body alone, especially like you were talking about in that stressful situation and the silliness, right? Just like, it's almost like when you do that, you know.
Okay, so can I interrupt you? Because that's just a perfect segue to something. So I learned this from a breath instructor, but then I added my own insight just from observing people do this. So if all your listeners will just take a big deep breath along with us, take a big breath. And now we're going to do a sigh of relief. And as you exhale, just sigh it out as a big sigh of relief. And as we do it one more time, notice what's happening in your body. Okay, so breathe in and exhale a big sigh of relief. Ah. And as you heard your voice and as you noticed your body, now we're going to do it again. Only this time we're going to do a big deep breath and a sigh of contentment. Contentment because we're in this moment. We made it. We're listening to this podcast. We're creating it together right now. We're present to this moment. Okay. So it's a moment of contentment. Breathe in and now exhale a sigh of contentment. Ah. I don't know about you, but what I'm looking at is two smiling faces looking at me with the contentment. And we'll do it one more time and listen to your sound of your breath exhaling and feel where it is in your body, how it's different. Breathe in and a sigh of contentment. Ah, you feel lifted up. And just that can reset your entire day. Because when you sigh a sigh of relief, it is good for you. You're getting rid of some of that tension. You're letting it all go down. But then when you say, oh, but I have something that I can be grateful for. I made it this far to this minute. That's all that matters right now is this minute. Now I can reset my whole body just with that one breath and that one thought to just experience life a little bit better.
Yeah, yeah. And be present. I love that. And being present and just that awe sounds tells our cells we're good.
Yeah.
Everything's good. Everything's safe. I mean, it's so great for the nervous system. Okay, so I want to get into that because we're going to talk about this. So much of, the magic in the middle lives in the bridge between science and spirit, which is really important to me, and now laughter. And it sits so the middle to me is like the gap or the void. It's where the healing happens, right? So I want you to walk us through what is actually happening in the body when we laugh, even when we fake it, even when we pretend, because the research on the vagus nerve, the parasympathetic nervous system, and diaphragmatic breath is genuinely stunning. And I love talking about these things. I talk about it on my podcast all the time. So, and you have researched it, lived it. So tell my audience more because this is the science now, right? We're not just saying, okay, we feel better. Like this is the
Right.
science.
Right.
So in 1928, Dr. James Joseph, I think that's his name, Walsh, um, a doctor. He wrote a book called Laughter and Health. Every chapter of the book describes all the benefits for each different body system when we laugh. Now, think about it. Laughter is an exhale. Okay, take a deep breath, exhale. Ha 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 ha. And when you do that, you're stimulating and massaging the diaphragm. The diaphragm is this core central organ in the body. And when you laugh, it massages every other organ in the body. It's great for your digestion. It's great for your heart health. It's good for your lungs because the diaphragm sits right there. It's good for every part of you. Now, knowing that that's the case, a little chuckle is not going to get you the same benefits as a deep belly laugh. We also know that when you lift up your throat and open your throat, you're going to get a much different laugh than if you go, see the constriction right here in your neck when you just look full face front? Really different. You can feel it, right? So what the goal is sustained belly laughter. We're going to get a good exchange of oxygen. Every exhale brings fresh oxygen in. And the more we exhale, and take a deep breath, but take a breath and laugh, you're going to be able to exhale so much more because just keep pushing air out until you need to take another breath. You can see what happens. Now, I can't laugh as long as she can, or probably as long as you can, but you can take another quick breath and then keep going, right? So
Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it really fast. And let's have the audience do it with us. Okay. So you lead it.
Okay, this is called laughter breaths. And we're just going to take a breath. And I'm just going to say, I created this exercise for people like me who laugh with a little resistance because
And just play with the sound in your mouth and in your body. Let it move around. Okay, ready? Here we go. Breathe in. Exhale.
That is good.
Now, there's a lot of the early research about laughter was watching comedies versus watching something that wasn't a comedy. And later in life, we started seeing research about laughter yoga. The benefit of laughter yoga and choosing to purposefully, playfully laugh over a comedy is it shuts down your inner critic. Your critical thinking doesn't need to happen to evaluate, is this funny? Is it socially acceptable to laugh? Is it better not to laugh? And so on. So once we quiet that inner critic and we're generating the laughter and learning to generate it, now we've got something really magical. The sound of the soul joyfully is the sound of laughter. And it's what children sound like when they're in their zone playing and not worried about anything. The vagus nerve is the largest nerve it's a cervical nerve from the back of the neck all the way to the gut. If you look up healthy ways, like natural ways to stimulate the vagus nerve, what are you going to find? Singing, deep breathing, and laughter. And in my book, laughter's better than both of those because I don't have to carry a tune. Again, I don't have to engage my inner critic, and I can get more of an oxygen exchange and probably more of a vibrational stimulation to that vagus nerve by laughing than by just deep breathing. But breathing is important and deep breathing is important, but it's another way to do that. It's also great heart health. Dr. Michael Miller, now of somewhere in Pennsylvania, a heart doctor, prescribes 15 minutes of deep belly laughing until you cry to his heart patients, even if you're awaiting triple bypass surgery, because nitric oxide is the byproduct of laughter and it takes away the plaque in the arteries. How great is that?
Pretty incredible.
Yes, it is. Uh, We even have people in our laughter group. There's a couple who have lung conditions,
Hmm.
and I feel like it's helping them. And plus, we do a lot of breath work in our
Hmm.
laughter groups. I lead qigong during your laughter groups, so that's why I haven't been. But I feel like that has benefited them so much.
It's because laughter is by nature an exhale. And if you think
Hmm.
about it, when you laugh, you're exhaling, exhaling, exhaling. You're making way for more clean oxygen. So laughter is really your body's natural way to increase the oxygen flow because the more carbon dioxide you expel, the more oxygen can come in. And even the first time I laughed with my daughter's friend, for 2 weeks I sounded like I had a smoker's cough, and I don't smoke. It's because I stimulated the oxygen and the lungs so much that I was getting rid of stuff. And I had somebody laugh with me once that had pneumonia, and she said, "Oh my God, I just feel so much, I got so much gunk out." And so, it's a great way to move the oxygen around in your lungs.
Yeah.
It's also it lowers the pain that you feel. You feel much less pain when you've got an endorphin rush from laughing. It's also fabulous at stimulating the immune system. And my favorite thing, although this isn't quite the science that you talked about, but there's definitely got to be some science here. There's a book called Deep Survival by Lawrence Gonzalez, Who Lives, Who Dies, and Why. And he's talking about like there's a catastrophic accident, like you're climbing Kilimanjaro and your partner falls to his death and you have a broken leg. How does that guy survive? The common denominator among the people who survive these things, they know how to laugh at life and they know how to adopt a playful attitude. Now, I read that and said, okay, 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 I'm going to learn this.
Rachel Naysayer.
Yes.
I love it. And, I think like, how they have the blue zones around the globe
Oh,
where
yeah.
people live a really long time. One of the biggest statistics, though, is being able to have laugh at life, enjoy life, having joy. In Qigong, we call that happiness for no reason.
Mhm.
But that's one of the really big statistics in all the areas that people have. Yeah. I, I love that. Um, okay. This really blows my mind when I first learned this, that the body cannot tell the difference between simulated laughter and spontaneous laughter. So it's like the same biochemistry, same nervous system responses. So to me, the observer effect, that is the observer effect alive in the body, which I talk about a lot on this podcast in Qigong, like the observer effect for creating the day that you want. So that's choosing our state. So how does that change the way we think about emotional regulation?
Well, so if you think about laughter, pop quiz for the day. How much laughter, what percentage of laughter do you think comes from humor or having a sense of humor? Or thinking something's funny?
5%.
Only 20%. But a lot of people answer 80% or 100%. But if only 20% is coming from humor or funny, then where's the rest coming from? Well, there's over 100 theories of laughter. We talk about five of them in our book, but some of these will be natural to you. Um, we often laugh at when there's an element of surprise. The comedian wasn't really that funny if you analyze it, but you weren't expecting that to happen. So that surprise is what causes the laughter. We laugh when we're nervous. Smile ups started because when I would say to my laughter groups, okay, I want you to laugh on purpose, they'd look at me like I was nuts. But if I said, all right, look at someone else and smile, they'd immediately start laughing. Why? Because they felt a little awkward. They felt a little nervous. They were scared. We laugh when we're uncomfortable. We also laugh just simply to connect with someone else. Have you ever walked up in front of a group of people? These are people you know, you hear laughing, you go over, you listen for a minute. Nothing is funny, but you start laughing too because laughter is a social connector. It helps us back in early days of man, we would communicate that everything was okay and that we were safe by laughing. And so we use it as a way to connect. In fact, we're 30% more likely to laugh if we're with someone else. And so this whole idea of using laughter, you don't have to be thinking it's funny. So when you say, do you mean it or not? We all also have laughed at an inappropriate time, right? You didn't consciously say, I'm going to laugh, but you did. Why? Why did your body choose to have you laugh in that moment? Well, it's usually because you were so uncomfortable. The laughter came to protect you from that stress, from that fight or flight that was going on in your body. And so it's a really powerful tool to help you get to that state. And if you think it's funny, that's great. But if you don't, there's all these other reasons that we are gifted this state of laughter. So it works no matter what.
I just want to add that I think that, like tears, laughter is a gift that enables us to go back to a state of balance. I think that's why nervous laughter happens, because something is emotionally dysregulated for us. We're nervous, we're concerned, we're stressed, we're worried, and we laugh or cry to bring us back to a state of balance.
Mm. Yeah, so to regulate the nervous system, let's say it's feeling out of whack for whatever reason, if we, even if it's fake laughter, it can help us come back to that balance, right?
Mhm.
And it can help the nervous system say, okay, I'm okay. Everything's okay. And it's using, and the parasympathetic, right? When it's calm, then
Yes.
yeah.
Like, for example, the more you practice this, and it's really is a practice, like I didn't always laugh easily, and I would be the first one to have like expletives come out of my mouth when I lose my keys or I break a glass. You know, when I was with my daughter in the hospital room, I was good with that kind of stress. But then spill milk on the floor and I would lose it. And so, after doing laughter, what I have discovered is in a stressful moment, when you call up laughter on purpose, oh my gosh, it literally changes what's going on in your body. So now, when I drop the glass dish and watch it shatter literally all over the floor, instead of stomping around, potentially hurting my feet on the glass, or having the expletives come out and feeling my blood pressure rise, now I'm like, oh yes, laughter. And I start to laugh, and then I more carefully pick up the pieces. And oh, it was only a dish. And so the training that you can do for yourself to create the laughter as your go-to habits. That's what we tried to set out in the book, because we really wanted people to make this your go-to response. And I even have a friend who did a lot of work with addiction and recovery patients, because if you can learn to laugh on purpose, it feels great. It's like getting a runner's high, but there's no side effects other than that it feels good. And so that's just a really powerful awareness that helps trigger people to say, oh, yeah, maybe I do want to investigate this.
Yeah, yeah.
And I want to say one more thing. When we are practicing, we have a formula for laughter: smile, breathe, play. The important element, the magic element, is the play. What's play? Play is that suspended state when we're not worrying about what anybody thinks of us. We're not being tested. We're just playing. And when you play, that puts you in the state of being in the middle that you're talking about. And then laughing because, and there are so many great reasons to laugh. So many, so many, so many, because I want all the benefits, because I want to have fun, because I can, because not everyone can, and because I'm here, and because I'm grateful. But when you tap into all those really awesome states, now it's funny, it's not funny, who cares?
And we get to have happiness for no reason, joy, which is like that original state that we were born in. So we get to go like back to that, which I think is really amazing. Think about babies. They're born with happiness for no reason, you know. They have these bright, open, smiling hearts and little faces and bodies, and That's us, and it still lives within us. And I feel like laughter helps us to access that again and bring it back to the surface as a grown-ups, who many of us may have forgotten about laughter and how to laugh.
I think it has a lot to do with being present in the moment, right? A
Mhm.
child is filled
Yeah.
with curiosity and wonder, and they're in play because they're experiencing this right now. Whatever's in front of them, they get easily distracted by something else because it's like new. Well, as adults, we're so worried about what happened in the office today, or what's going to happen tomorrow, or what am I going to do about dinner that I didn't get ready? We forget to look in front of us right this minute. And the more you practice laughter, the more present oriented you become. And to me, that's what's joy is, when you're in that flow, when you're in being present, like an artist. When you're in the moment, you're just there. You're not thinking about anything else. And laughter can get you there too.
Yep. And in Qigong, we call that emptiness, that magic in the middle. We call it the middle, the void. Like it's just beautiful. And that's the most powerful part of creation, right? Is being in that moment.
Mhm.
Um, Sarah, you trained with Dr. Kataria, who is the founder of Laughter Yoga, and he named you Laughter Ambassador. So, what did he teach you about laughter that you cannot find in any book, except maybe your book? But
Well, first of all, I want to clarify I have met Dr. Kataria, but I did not learn from him. I learned from his school. So, Molly, my daughter's friend, she became a certified laughter yoga leader and she trained me. And then I later studied with Jeffrey Breyer, who is a master trainer also under Dr. Kataria. So, I've met Dr. Kataria and he did write the foreword for our book, which we're really proud of. But I think the thing that I really credit Dr. Kataria with is recognizing the importance of lack of judgment and bringing that element of play. It was those two things together that I think really were the catalyst for having a worldwide movement. And he originally was studying the health benefits of humor. In a public park, he went and told jokes with six friends. And by the end of a week, there were 30 people and everyone was having a great time until some of them said, wait, these jokes aren't funny anymore. We don't want to do it. And he was a theater student before he became a doctor. And he went home that night and he said, I've got to get them to laugh without jokes. And so he called on the element of play and surprise. And he created these laughter games. And it's the play element that is so, so important. And if you study laughter yoga, you're going to learn 40 foundational exercises. But what I have done myself as a trainer and encourage my students to do, and Rachel and I have done a lot of this, especially when we've had the opportunity to do book events together, is to create laughter games on the spot. So first we chose in our book to call them laughter games, not laughter exercises, because we wanted to emphasize that spirit of play that Dr. Kataria, included. And then the spontaneous nature keeps it fresh, keeps it playful, and really invites people to think outside of the box and with their imaginations, because imagination and play are those childhood elements that you were talking about.
yeah, and getting past the monkey mind, the inner critic, the litigation. I love that. And Dr. Kataria discovered through this, though, with his patients, they were healing through the laughter, right? Like through practicing laughter.
So what happened is Dr. Kataria, in that 24-hour period when they were going to suspend the jokes, they were going to, like, people were going to leave. He went home and he had been creating a newsletter or a magazine for a lay thing for his patients. And he was like, Sarah studied, is it true? He was writing an article. Is it true that laughter is the best medicine? And he had uncovered two particular books. One is called Emotions and Health, and the other one is Anatomy of a Patient by Norman Cousins. Any
Mm.
book at all that you're going to read about laughter is going to have a reference to or a lot about Norman Cousins. Norman Cousins was suffering from ankylosing spondylitis, a nervous system shutdown thing that was going to, like, he was given 6 months to live. Now, Norman Cousins was an editor for Saturday Review magazine, and he had done an article on Hans Seeley's book, Stress. And Hans Seeley had discovered and basically proved that negative stress has a negative effect on the body. Oh, surprise, surprise. Well, Norman Cousins has been given basically a 6-month death sentence, and he's told to get his affairs in order, and his body is racked with pain, and he can't sleep at night, and he's, pretty devastated. And he says to himself, if the negative emotions affect the body negatively, it must be true that positive emotions affect the body in a positive way. Now, it didn't hurt that he had a fabulous doctor who was willing to partner with him, and that he had a wife who was definitely committed to organic food. But he got the hospital to give permission to bring a movie projector into his room, and he watched Candid Camera and Marx Brothers movies. And he found 10 minutes of laughing with those movies gave him 2 hours of pain-free sleep. Now, we had the pleasure of interviewing his youngest daughter, Sarah Shapiro. And lots of people will talk about Norman Cousins and say the guy who cured himself with laughter. And it's not really true. He did go on to live 25 years. His daughter says that his intention was to say that laughter will turn on, and we have another Japanese researcher who proved this. It will turn on the positive emotions of hope and belief and joy, and he had a fierce desire to live. And so by laughing, he believes he turned on the positive emotions that facilitated his healing.
So
It's
laughter
such
by itself, laughter by itself is not a magic cure. It sets the stage for things to happen organically in your body. And I just say my favorite quote is life is 10% what happens to us and 90% how we respond. And so when we respond with laughter, we can't change what's going on, but we can change how we show up for it. And that can bring us joy even in the moment. I've done a lot of work with one-on-one hospice patients. I can't turn their disease around, but I can help the family and them enjoy the days that they have.
Yeah. And it can remap your nervous system, your brain,
Yes.
um, with what am I thinking of? Neuroplasticity, and
Yeah.
especially if it's a practice, like you said, it's not like you do it one time. It's like exercise and eating healthy. It's a practice.
Yes.
So, let's see. I'm just looking at my questions. Want to make sure I cover everything. Oh, so um on your website, there's a beautiful line about your family moving from hospital rooms to life of joy through laughter. As much as you feel comfortable, can you tell us about that? Because my listeners would like to know that laughter, it's not denial. So we talk about this in Qigong a lot, because in Qigong we bring in joy, we bring in happiness, not to cover quote negative emotions, which we say are not negative, they're not good or bad, but because they can be too much and too heavy, and Rachel, you alluded to it, they can make the body sick. So it's not covering these emotions, it's not bypassing them, but medicine, like we were just talking about, that works alongside the hard things. Do you mind talking about that?
So when I was 16, I was in the hospital for a month with intestinal issues. When I came out of the hospital, my very highly specialized doctor, everyone told me, okay, now they thought I had Crohn's disease, and they said it's familial, but it's aggravated by stress. So you want to make sure, you're 16 years old, you want to make sure not to have any stress in your life. Kidding. And
Oh,
and did anybody say, oh, and you might want to try deep breathing or meditation or some extra? Nobody said the first hint about what to do to not have stress. They left that to me, which was a colossal failure. Obviously, it was largely the stress I had created in my own self for a few years that led me to that place. It was really not until learning this whole laughter yoga thing that I started to understand that the stress that I had in my life that was showing up in different ways was contributing massively to my physical discomfort and what have you. And so for me, the byproduct of learning this and thinking about the connection between laughter and stress has been, I've become a more grateful person. I've become a more positive person. I'm also way more willing to take responsibility for my own, not just health, but my mindset, because I have found that laughter can be like a switch. If I've had the experience early on in this journey with Sarah where I have it in my mind. There's a particular doctor that did some research. I think it's Lee Burke, but I'm not sure. That absolutely clearly shows that if you merely anticipate laughing,
Mhm.
you're going to get a lot of the benefits. You don't have to even laugh. You just have to think about it. So a lot of times I'll be in a stressful situation or an upsetting moment and I'll go, I really need to laugh. So once early on, I called Sarah and I said, through almost tears, I really need to laugh. And she knows me well enough that we did a big crying session and then we laughed. Because partly, again, that the body wants to go back to balance. And laughter is just a great way to get there. One more thing. There's Annette Goodhart wrote Laughter Therapy. She was a therapist who used laughter. She said, I know that laughter is the quickest, easiest way to get to catharsis. There's hitting and anger and crying, but laughter is just fun and easy. So let's use that. And that's what she did. So that's been my experience, that's like the best choice to make.
And what I would say when I was in the hospital with my daughter, uh, it was very clear to me she was very sick, and I had a choice every single day. I can sit here and mope around and be miserable and not know what the outcome is, but the truth is, none of us know the outcome of today, right? And so, or I could, and Rachel was very helpful with this, create the hospital room looking like a college dorm room. I slept on a polka dot futon and she played there and we had posters and fun things. We did art projects and every day was a fun day. And so, you have a choice how you show up. And it doesn't mean that life is good. Like right now, today, the world is in such, a heavy place. And everybody I know is feeling it, regardless of, any other beliefs. People are feeling it. And there's a loneliness epidemic in the world right now. And so we still get to show up and we can bring a giggle and lighten somebody else's way and make sure, you can add chocolate, you can add dancing, you can add music, you can add all the things that you want, but laughter you bring with you. And so, like just it gives you this chance to just lighten up. And if you even, like I, even now talking, as I'm thinking about it, I feel my body lifting and I feel my face coming into a smile and I almost want to giggle because it just like works like magic. Rachel likes to call it the superpower. And it is, it's a real superpower.
So
I
I was having some relationship challenges, and lo and behold, on my bookshelf there's a book called, I forget what it's called. It's by Enda Junkins, Belly Laughter and Relationships, Something Else Positive Below the Belt. And I was going through the book, and I've gone through it a zillion times. I can't find the exact exercise, but I created my own. I close the book, I go downstairs to my husband's office, and I just looked him in the eye. I took his hands and I said, could you just laugh with me? And he's like, okay. And he started laughing. And the first thing he did was he made his eyes go really big like this. Only he did it with a big smile on his face. And to this day, sometimes I'll say to him, could you just make that face for me, please? Because I know it's going to make me laugh.
Right.
So laughter, in addition to a superpower that we can turn on and choose and practice and just bring when we need it, laughter is a fabulous way to create memories with somebody and to connect more deeply with somebody and to allow yourself to just have fun. I mean, Stuart Brown is a psychiatrist who coined the phrase play deprivation. How many adults do you know? I was number one who are play deprived. We have to give ourselves permission to play. And that's why our book includes permission slips, because we want people to really have full permission to play full out and just enjoy this moment.
Uh, yeah, I love that. And what you were saying too is it's like radiating, I feel like from the inside out, but also going into your home and your spaces. And then you create those relationships where I don't know if you can, but like my husband and I have like little things that we laugh about, and I could go like, open my eyes big or something, and then he'll remember that time. We'll be like, like
Exactly.
what you did, Rachel, with your husband, and um, creating that beautiful synergy and relationship. And I feel like too, like with what the world is going through right now, laughter is more important than ever. Qigong is more important than ever. So we're raising our frequency, we're raising the consciousness because it is a consciousness. And we've been talking about that whole time. This is a choice, it is a consciousness, and it is watching who we are, our thoughts, and being aware of where we are, and then choosing if we want to stay in the heavy or maybe we want to come out of it and we want to radiate more brightly, and using our laughter tools to be able to do that. For me, I've always laughed to laugh since a kid, so I'm going that way.
Well, and when you talk about that place in the middle, that magic in the middle, what's amazing is when you look at the science, you're laughing and it feels good. And you might not know why, but you feel good. So you keep doing it. But if you can step out of yourself and know why, the reason that you're feeling good with the laughter is because there are physical changes happening in your brain and in your body that are elevating your spirit. So of course you want it. Of course you want to choose it. But then when you sometimes sit back and say, well, I shouldn't. Well, but you want to feel better. So, yes, go ahead, feel better. You don't have to think it's funny. You don't have to think you deserve it. You just know you need to feel better. So,
You don't need permission, you don't need to earn it, you don't need to
right,
perform,
right.
you just get to be
You just
yourself.
know you
It
need
just
to feel better. Yes,
Yeah, yeah. So one more thing before we go. Can we do one more laughter exercise before we go?
sure. Okay, so we're gonna put on our laughter glasses. So all three of us happen to be wearing glasses, and I have had a lot of problems with mine lately. And I've worn glasses since I was 3 years old and avoided eye surgery. And here's the thing: put on some magic glasses, like make little circles with your hands, put them in front of your eyes, and our listeners can do this. You can lift them up and make little, fringes or something, little feathers on your, like think of a mask, whatever you want. But everywhere you look, when you look, you see little giggles and you see little laughter bubbles everywhere. So you can't help it. You start laughing with them. No, turn another place, and it's a different kind of laughter. See something that isn't good, but put on your laughter glasses and turn it into something better. Maybe instead of bombs going off, it's stars glittering in the sky, and we have hope. So let's do that. And when we see that people don't have any money, let's create with our laughter glasses money falling from the sky. Put it in your pocket and now laugh all the way to the bank. And again, it can't actually make those things happen, but if you use your imagination, it provides hope. You can use a little telescope or a monocle and tune right into what is it that's going on in your brain right now. It's opening up with giggles.
I had a vivid image of going into the bank where I have maybe a large outstanding debt and telling the banker that I put on my laughter glasses and I imagined my pockets somehow magically filled with money. And what could he do for me? Now, he may not be able to do anything, but you will brighten his day. Now, Og Mandino says in The Greatest Salesman in the World, he has these 10 scrolls for success as a salesman. What do you think number 7 is? It's I'm going to laugh with life. And he knows that it's going to be good for his digestion and good for, his salesmanship and good for all these things. Now, if we can let ourselves imagine our problems solved by magical elements in laughter, we're going to bring that energy into whatever interaction is next. And you never know what's going to happen. You really don't. So it's a superpower that keeps radiating because it's not limited to one little benefit or feeling good here. We can't help but be impacted and carry it into the next interaction that we have.
And it's an
That,
attitude. It's an attitude that you bring with you all the time.
and that's the magic. And the
Totally.
brain that created the problem can't fix it. So maybe we're putting on a new brain, and that's the magic. We just
Yeah.
laugh, and maybe we're like, aha, you know?
Right. It's the creative problem solving happens because we opened up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. We let it go. We let it go. So, ladies, anything that maybe we haven't talked about or I didn't ask?
Well, we do have a chapter in the book about celebrating with laughter, turning everyday things into causes for celebration. We talk about clapping and how powerful it is because there's 29 pressure points on your hands. So when you put your fingers wide apart and clap really hard, and you do that for a minute while I'm talking, pretty soon you'll feel this incredible energy between your hands. Now, when we have these tools, we're trying to teach people to celebrate life with laughter and to create and establish laughter habits. Our book is designed to be either a starting point or a reference tool along the way to, to sharing an authentic laughter practice with us. Sarah laughs on a free call every week for 15 minutes on Mondays. I laugh on a free Zoom every Tuesday. And recently, to go with the celebration chapter, we've created a monthly birthday club for all of our fans,
Leaders
listeners,
and
readers.
friends.
Yeah, and anybody can come. And we just want to celebrate each other's birthdays and celebrate our lives. And that's what we do. And so
So
it's a
those are
practice.
all free. All of those three things are free. And we really invite people to just come and laugh with us because all you have to do is experience it and you'll find that it is really helpful.
Yeah. And even if you do it just if just a little bite, or if you have camera off, or you don't even laugh. Some people don't
Right.
even laugh, but
Right.
then they keep coming and they feel better and they
Yes.
start laughing. So, yeah.
I've had a couple of people come to my call and be on camera and cry through the whole thing. And
Yep.
they show up. It's such a gift to me that they're showing up because they know they're getting something. And I just think that, like, and the rule number one, no judgment of yourself or anybody else. And it's just such a safe place to learn how to laugh and then practice it on a regular basis. Our goal is that by the end of January of 2027, we have 10,000 readers. So we're going to get there.
And
So
Yeah, and
I
there.
should point out our book is not available on Amazon currently. So you
Mhm.
can only get it through our website, discoverthepoweroflaughter.com, or from one of us. And that is intentional because we really want to have a connection with our readers. And just today, I have some other kinds of books that I have done. And just today, I found out that one of my painting and writing meditation books sold a copy on Amazon in England. And it's great. And I am thrilled that, Amazon was able to get my book to someone in England. But the problem is, I have no idea who that is. I have no opportunity to say, oh, I'm so glad you bought my book. What led you to that title? Why, are you writing? Are you meditating with it? What do and we wanted that. We wanted to be able to have a conversation with our readers who wanted to. I mean, there's no pressure, but we want people to engage with us. We are available if people want to have conversations with us, if they have a problem. I was on the phone today for an hour with one person that I laugh with, and for 15 minutes with somebody else, because they just were having some things they wanted to talk to me about and wanted to know about laughter. So it happens all the time, and it's just a wonderful thing, because what we really want more than anything is to give everybody the tools to recognize that they have this incredible power. They just need to know about it and access it.
I love that. And you all are so personable and so wonderful. And this mission that you're on, I'm so thankful for it. It has changed my life and it changes my life every day. And so in the show notes, we'll have the link to your website, to the Monday and Tuesday classes, the birthday classes. So it'll all be there for everybody. So you
Right.
can, get the book, join the calls, really get to connect with Sarah and Rachel. They're beautiful, beautiful humans. I mean, just inside and out. And I'm so grateful to have you and to be here with both of you. Thank you so much. You are making a huge difference in the world.
Well, thank you so much for having us. And if people do visit the website, which is something you can do just to get information, but if you do read the book, we would love for you to send us a testimonial on the website, because sharing it is really part of what helps us reach all those people. And there is a link on the website to our YouTube channels where you can see the exercises that or the games that we talk about in the book. And again, the book was written to be interactive, and so we want you to have the experience of
Yeah, and invite your friends and family to get silly with you.
it. Absolutely.
All right, ladies. Well, thank you, thank you.
Thanks
And
so much.
thank you for being a part of Magic in the Middle. And for people who are enjoying value from Magic in the Middle, I invite you to put thumbs up, stars, share it with other people. Let's, raise the frequency and the vibration around the planet. And thank you. This has been amazing.
Thanks a lot. I feel we should go out with the giggle.